everybody, my name is Shaunette and I'm a 4th year veterinary medicine student. Today's video is going to be a little bit about my journey into vet school, what made me want to become a vet, how I got to where I am and where I am now. Okay, so we'll start right at the start. From being asked when I was a child, what do you want to be when you're older? I had no clue what I wanted to be. I started off wanting to be an archaeologist, then I wanted to be a marine biologist, then I wanted to be a doctor, and then being a doctor wasn't enough, so I wanted to be a brain surgeon. And then it came to around year 9 GCSE time, so I was around 14, 15, 16, around that age bracket. And we had to make a decision on where to go and do some work experience. And I was on holiday and I vividly remember sunbathing and thinking, what on earth am I going to do? And I thought, right, what's my main passion in life? And I absolutely love my background from my mum's side of the family, which is farming. And it's a big passion of mine. I really love that side of my family. And I thought, how can I incorporate that into my life? And what other things got me passionate. And every time I had to do a debate in school, my tutor would get me to talk about animal rights. I was really passionate about that. I'd always loved animals. I'd always have hobbies evolved around animals, such as wanting to walk dogs, wanting to always have a dog, doing a lot of horse riding. Again, the marine biology, I loved the sea, I loved animals like dolphins and stuff. Everything that encompassed my passions tend to have a link to animals, such as photography. I love taking photos of like natural photography. If an animal was in there, great. Another thing that I realised was that I was really passionate about science, and it was one of my best subjects in school. I really enjoyed learning how things worked and having the facts the science were able to give me. They were the subjects that I thrived on and I also found interesting. So I sat there and I thought, what combines these two? I've always wanted to do medicine or something linked to medicine. I like science, I like the thought of surgery. What can I do? And veterinary just seemed to come straight to me as a thought. And I thought, right, okay, let's do some veterinary work experience. So I managed to get some work experience in a vet practice in West Wales, which is a mixed vet practice. And I thought, right, okay, let's go, let's see how I get on. I normally faint at the sight of blood, so I thought I was going to be horrendous. But it turns out it's just human blood that I don't like. So when I was on placement, I ended up being fine, wasn't getting queasy at all. And I just fell in love with the profession, honestly. I was hooked from day one. I was so excited every day. Every patient was something new. Every day was different. And just the pace of it was something that I got addicted to really quickly. I just thought it was the best thing ever, and how you were able to have a moment in the consult room, then you're in the operating theatre, next thing you're on a farm. I just loved how the day rolled and how it just went. So from then on, there was no turning back. I wanted to be a vet, that was it. Everyone told me, what is your plan B? And I was like, I haven't got a plan B. Plan A is the one option, and I'm not changing my plan A. It's always going to be plan A or no plan at all. So you can see in my head, I was dead set on becoming a vet. So went on to GCSEs and chose the right subjects. I did triple science. I did about 13 or 16 GCSEs. It was something ridiculous, but I had my maths, my triple science, my English. I had all the basics that you needed. If you ever need to look at what GCSEs you need, always look in the prospectus or the uni's website. That is the main place to go and get your information from. So when I did my GCSEs, I did really well. I got some A's and A stars, and I think I got 2 B's, I think. Yeah, I got B in history and something else, but my grades were absolutely fine. So I then moved on to do A levels, and during this time I was doing a bit of work experience here and there as well, but work experience came more in this stage now between GCSEs and A levels, and I'll talk about work experience later after I talk about my academia. In A levels I chose to do physics, biology, chemistry and religious studies. I ended up dropping physics after AS because I did really badly in it. To be honest, I did really badly in AS levels altogether. I can't remember exactly what grades I had, but it was like D's, C's, B's. B's are fine, but I was getting more D's and C's and I wasn't doing very well at all. Generally, the shock from going from GCSEs to A levels is massive in science. It's huge. Don't get me wrong, it's doable, but only just. It's rock hard. And I think it's really important to say that I've done all of my education in Welsh before university, so bear that in mind as well. But I found A levels so difficult. I needed tutors, I needed so much help that it was just ridiculous. And I did terribly in my ASs. Terribly for me anyway. In my opinion, I did terribly from what I wanted to achieve. I wanted to get A's and A stars. I got D's and C's. And for me, personally, that was a terrible thing. That might be fantastic for someone else. It was just my personal goal was to get A's and A stars. And I think that's part of your frame of mind when you're in school. If you've been in top set your whole life, you're just expected to get these A's, and when you don't get them, it's a heck of a shock, and you're so scared that you're not going to succeed because you haven't got these grades. But you get people who are millionaires who have done so much success without any GCSEs even. So it doesn't define you, but when you have a goal that's so dependent on your grades, it's so hard to let it go. It's so hard to not beat yourself up. So it's something that I definitely had to deal with. I then remember going to Surrey Open Day after having this bad news, and Noel Fitzpatrick was actually doing a talk, and I remember him saying, like, don't take someone's space if you're not passionate enough about this thing. And you can tell, like, this is my dream and I am living my dream. I'm so lucky. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it, but I'm really lucky to be living the dream that I've always wanted to do, and being a vet student. That's my reality now. But looking back at it, I wasn't achieving the A levels I needed. I was heartbroken and it felt like mission impossible. And then here was Noel Fitzpatrick saying, don't take someone's space if you're not passionate enough. And I was thinking, I'm so passionate, but I'm just not getting the grades. And I felt like there was no way in, and there was just nothing for me to do. Anyway, it got to the point where I had to think, am I either going to resit all of my exams, which I did end up doing. Well, for most of my exams, I resat them at the same time I did my A2s. I had the option to resit the year if I wanted to, which meant that I didn't have to sit everything in one go. Or I would give up on the dream and realise that I wasn't cut out for it. But I think it's so easy to give up and it wasn't in my blood. I knew I wanted to be a vet. There was nothing else, so I wasn't going to give up. That was not an option. Resitting the year I could have done, but I wasn't really prepared to do that. I didn't really want to. So the other thing that I had was to resit exams, and I did choose to resit exams at the same time my next exams were coming. So I had double the workload to do in a year, and it was a real push. But during this time I was looking at different options into vet school, and I had no idea that there were programs such as the Gateway program at the RVC, which is actually how I managed to get onto veterinary medicine with worse grades than what they ask for. I ended up getting 3 Bs after doing all of my resits. Altogether in biology, chemistry and religious studies I got 3 Bs, so I managed to get my grades right up from the Ds and Cs that I was getting, and that was still not good enough. But what I'd done was I'd only applied to RVC Gateway because it was the only one I was eligible for, and it was the only one that allowed me to go into veterinary medicine with the grades 3 Cs or above. It was a lifeline, and I can't express how grateful I am for this lifeline that I had. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sat here right now talking to you about being a vet student, because this programme is something else. It's a widening participation scheme that allows people from different backgrounds, from different abilities, to come in and access a course that they normally wouldn't. I happen to be eligible for it because I came from a school that was underperforming, apparently. My parents had never been to uni. I had some criteria to fill to be able to apply for the Gateway programme, and other people who didn't get the grades might not have been eligible. You have to look in and see if you're eligible for it. I asked RVC to start off with if I was eligible, and I was actually told I wasn't, until I dug deeper and realised I actually was. And I kept pestering them and asking, I've got this, this and this, can I qualify for this scheme now? And they were saying no, and then eventually I figured out that I was, so I only applied to Gateway. Now, the reason I only applied to Gateway was because I, at the time, was hearing rumours that if you had an interview, got an offer, but then didn't get the grade, you weren't qualified, you weren't able to reapply the next year. And I wanted to maximise my time applying to vet school if I didn't get in on the Gateway programme. And the plan was to, if I got a place on the Gateway programme and I got those grades, great, I was going in. If I didn't get the grades, 3Cs or above, I would have to rethink or resit my A-levels completely. If I didn't get in on the Gateway, but I then got the grades, then I was going to apply for the 5-year programme. So I had all of my options open. I had as many chances as possible. Turns out the rumour was untrue, so I could have applied to the 5-year, but I wouldn't have got in anyway because my grades were too low. So the Gateway programme was just amazing, and I will do a full video on the Gateway programme because I'm so passionate about letting people know that there are other ways in other than the direct way into veterinary medicine. There are so many other options. There are contextual offers, so if you have certain criteria, then you're able to have a contextual offer, which means that it's a bit lower for you to be able to enter the uni with lower grades. There are so many options because I truly believe that you do not need A's and A stars and the ridiculous grades to be a good vet. I am proof. I am getting through the degree. Hopefully I qualify in a year's time. But I have so far passed every year, bar the first year where I had to resit my exams, but I passed. I didn't have to resit the year, thank goodness. But I am proof, and there are so many other veterinary medicine students who came in on the Gateway programme who are also proof that you do not need to be academically prestige perfect to be a good vet, or to succeed at the course. I've kind of skipped a big portion, which is the application process, but that's my big journey part, and you know that I got in. But let's talk about the application process. So I had to go through UCAS, and I did my personal statement, and that took forever. I did about almost 20 drafts, I think, of this personal statement. My first draft I made and I gave it to my teacher, and she basically said, it's horrendous, you're going to have to rewrite this, and ripped it in front of me. And I was just like, oh gosh. I was like, how on earth am I going to be a veterinary medicine student if I can't write a simple personal statement? But then I just went and I used lots of different people to help me, and I will do a full video on personal statements. I'm just giving you a brief overlook on my journey here. But after 20 attempts, I did my personal statement, sent it off, and then I had an interview invite. My interview is an MMI, and I am going to do a video completely about MMIs as well. But I actually really enjoyed the interview process. I had lots of fun on that day. We had a tour of the campus, then we had the multiple mini interviews, Then we had a group interview, and then we had a qualification check station, so where you had all of your scripts from your GCSE grades and stuff. And that was the day, and it was a great day out in London with my mum. We went out for breakfast in the morning, so it was a lot of fun. And then came the day that I got my offer, and I'm going to try and insert a clip here of me telling my mum that I actually had my offer, because it's such an emotional moment for me. I keep getting emotional because I'm so privileged to have reached where I am, and talking about it is just, I can't believe that I'm here. And people keep telling me, you know, you'll get over it. Like in first year I was saying, I can't believe I'm here, I can't believe I'm here. And students in the years above would say, oh, it'll wear off, don't worry. It's never worn off for me. I am so happy at where I am. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity that I've had, and to have reached here, it's incredible. So I'm going to play the video here for you.
Hello.
So there's me telling my mum, and you can see how passionate we both were and how excited we were about the next step. And then the pressure was on just to get the 3 C's or above, and I did manage to get 3 B's. So next thing was getting into uni, and that will be another video at how I integrated into the university life and how I managed to do that. But that's it for today's video, guys. Please put down in the comments what your journey is into vet school, if you're already a vet student, or if you want to be a vet student and you're applying. Put down any questions that you might have in the comments. I'll be more than happy to answer them. But that's it for today's video, guys, and until next time, bye!